Hello, my name is Schroeder, and I chose to talk Owning One to Rule Them All. This was originally presented by Dave DeSimone, who is a manager of information security, Fortune 1000, and Dave Kennedy, who's the founder and principal security consultant at Trusted Sec. These guys are both really big into security and very good penetration testers, and this talk and presentation they gave was just amazing, and you should really check it out and watch it. It's really great for a number of reasons, and if you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. This presentation shows several steps that will compromise a system within a company. They've claimed this has worked on 90% of their internal penetration tests, so that's a really good rate, and obviously there is a way to prevent that, but they've been using this for years before their talk, and still 90% of the time it will work. And it takes less than an hour. It's really pretty simple. It gets a little more complicated towards the end, but they make it simple for you. The banana, there's in the beginning of their presentation they had like a 3-minute video of random pictures of this guy eating a banana when he didn't know they were taking pictures of him. So they made this big slideshow of that, and it was pretty funny, but I was like, what am I watching here? But if you stick it out for the whole video of their presentation, you won't be disappointed. Alright, first of all, you need to know about Pixie Boot. This allows the ability to boot an image on a network. Almost every mid or large size company will use Pixie Boot. Basically, this just saves the administrator's time not patching and updating every individual machine, but they all run on the same system. Light touch requires user information and credentials to download the base image, so this will be like username, password, or like a certain ID. Some people use light touch, and then the common option is zero touch, which is no human interaction and boots from Pixie. This will just load your image without any credentials. Here's a picture of a typical Pixie boot with zero touch. So the first phase is you need to load the base image and then dump the local admin hashes on the local machine. That will give you the ability to leapfrog to other systems on the network. Now I'll introduce you to System Center Configuration Manager, SCCM. You may have heard of it, but it's the standard for centralized AD management environment, used mainly for creating, managing, deploying packages across the entire company environment, rather than every single machine individually. That would be really time consuming if you needed to do everyone individually, so they use this. And once the presenters of this talk, they found this, they knew that once they could get into here and find the center host from where all this is sent out, that they would be able to take over. The attack, phase 2. As a standard user, you can pull information from the SCCM agent that will enumerate the name of the central server and the other configuration properties. So this is our goal here, to find the central server. So this is basically how we do that, is you can review the SCCM logs on the compromised machine to gather information, and this will give you all you need. You need to know the central server, where it's found, and also the package name and ID for later use. The goal here, we need to gain access so that we can find the target information, and then we'll backdoor a valid package, and then it will connect back to us, and we'll deploy it to the entire company. So we'll be able to create a shell with many different systems there. So first of all, we'll need to find a source repository on the system, and this is typically a file share on the machine, usually marked as source or SCCM source. Then after we find that, we'll need to create a backdoor using a simple reverse shell. The reverse shell is a Python backdoor. It connects out to the attacker. So this is the code that they've given, and this is on their website and also in their video, but this just shows how you can run a simple reverse shell that will work for what we need it to do. And you have to use PyInstaller, and this is for compiling binaries. When you get a binary, you can wrap it with the Python interpreter into an executable, and this works on all major operating systems, Windows and Linux, and all the code and samples were released on Trusted Sec's website. So if you really want to figure out more about that, you can just go check it out or grab their exact code that works. So step 3, you're going to take a source package and replace it with the backdoored version of it. Grab the reverse shell executable and use it. Now you have a malicious package ready to be deployed. So basically you're just tricking them into thinking that it's one of their regular packages, but you have the shell, reverse shell in there. So then you send a connection back to yourself, and then you're in the system. And it's really made easy by them. They've released a script that does most of the work for you. It will automatically update the package and using the SCCM admin credentials, and it creates a new signature file. This is all done with Social Engineering Toolkit. It's really neat how they've made this work. Like, I don't really know how it exactly all works, but basically all you need is their IP of the target, your own IP for relaying it back, and also the access to SCCM admin credentials. So here's the script. This is what I was just trying to say. This server name is the only thing that you have. Well, server name and package ID, and it shows where you find those within the client configuration manager and the client logs. Once you find those, you will be able to get in, run this script. Down here it just says package refreshing source. You don't really need to change that. That's just optional. Demos. They go in to show 2 demos. The manual demo takes longer, but shows you all the steps that I've already mentioned. I didn't have time to do a manual demo, but this really cleared it up for me. I didn't really understand what they were all talking about. Kind of, they went so fast through it all. It was kind of hard to take in, but once you follow them doing it, you kind of get to understand it. I'm going to show you a little bit of the second demo they use using the Social Engineering Toolkit. It's really quick and easy. I think it's really awesome how they got this all to work, and yeah, so here I'll show you a little bit of that. So basically you run this in Social Engineering Toolkit, and they have this on their website, the script, and all you do is run it, and they ask you for the IP. You type that in, which you found, showing using the steps they've given you. Then you enter your own IP where you want, and then the username and password, and then it will launch already, and it does all this patching for you and compiles it for you, and it launches it, and it really doesn't take that long. It goes really fast. It's just rapid fire, and they play this rock song while this is going on, so it's just, they're trying to make it just look awesome, and it is pretty cool. So then it says pick the number of shell you want. So you have, depending on how big the company is, obviously you have multiple shells you can choose. Like this one here ran, and it got 927 within a matter of like 2 minutes. So I mean, it goes really fast. So wrapping up, this is very easy to do, and it takes less than an hour. They go into details of ways to prevent this attack by monitoring the SCCM servers and source files, but that would require someone, an administrator, to check that in regularly. And detective controls are huge to prevent this. If you set up some way of monitoring it, you can stop it, but a lot of people still haven't done that because they still say it works 90% of the time they've tried it, and they still use it quite a bit. So they're really proud of it. They've been using it for, I think they said 4 or 5 years before he gave this talk last year. So, or Defcon 20. So it's pretty good idea. If you have any questions, you can email me, or I suggest watching the original video because they can answer and explain it a lot better than I can, and they have a lot of humor in it too. So thanks for listening. Once again, this is not my work, but only my understanding of the presentation by Dave and Dave. I do encourage you to watch this presentation for many reasons, and thank you.